Hello, my name is Ken Wright. In this presentation, I want to talk about science and what science is defined to be. In mainstream science today, and in our classrooms, there are a lot of things that are being billed as science, but are really not science. They are philosophies and they are personal opinions, sometimes from very good scientists, but nevertheless, they are things that are not scientific. To be termed scientific, a method of inquiry must be based on empirical and measurable evidence. Well, this same definition can be found in just about every dictionary. Words like empirical, observable, repeatable, measurable, and of course evidence. These are found in just about all definitions. And this is what makes true science. And if we add an explanation of the evidence, then we have a theory. So, two components in scientific theories: the discovered facts, things fall. Explanation of the facts, why things fall. This is a theory. The fundamental process of science and its discovery is through a methodology called reductionism, the constant drilling down underneath the evidence to find the laws that produce the causes that create the effects. The explanation, however, doesn't come from science. It comes from philosophy, and it's called naturalism. Naturalism says that all explanations will assume natural causes, which essentially means that no supernatural causes are going to be allowed. Well, but our universe appears to have been designed. Paul Davies, one of the premier writers of our time, and he has said, "There is for me powerful evidence that there is something going on behind it all. It seems as though somebody has fine-tuned nature's numbers to make the universe. The impression of design is overwhelming." So we have empirical and measurable evidence that gives overwhelming appearance of design. Well, what kind of explanation can we give for that? Design implies a designer. That's not good. Well, there must be more than one universe, even an infinite number of universes. A multiverse. Universes are being produced all the time through just natural laws, and a very, very small percentage of them would actually have the numbers just right for life to exist. Of course, most of them would not. But God is not necessary to produce all of these universes. Well, so we have evidence of a universe that appears to have been designed overwhelmingly. And the explanation? A multiverse. Well, the problem with this is that there is no evidence for a multiverse. Zero. Nada. And what we have then is an explanation of evidence that doesn't exist. Think about it. Stephen Hawking, arguably the most well-known and famous theoretical physicist in the world today, who goes before a packed house at the California Institute of Technology and tells the audience that our universe didn't need any divine help to burst into being. And in a later place, says that the universe can and will create itself from nothing. It is not necessary to invoke God. Well, you can believe that when someone this prominent goes public with statements like this, that these are being heard in classrooms around the world. This and many other philosophies have become mainstream science and are being taught in our schools and universities to the total exclusion of other theories, even when there is evidence for the other theories. Bernard Hayes, astrophysicist and editor of the Astrophysics Journal for 10 years, made this interesting comment. "The problem is that mainstream science has become dismissive of evidence that does not accord with its philosophical beliefs." Well, mainstream science can be very political, and particular mainstream theories can be like the foundation of large buildings in which a lot of people are employed. And the mainstream theory is the foundation, and if new evidence comes along that seems to disagree with that mainstream theory, it's like somebody taking a jackhammer to the foundation of the building. And all the people that are working in the building don't like that. It's an attack. Alden Arp, one of the premier astronomers of the prior century, a protege of Edwin Hubble, after which the Hubble Space Telescope is named, and who wrote the Atlas of Peculiar Galaxies, which is still used today. Well, he became a critic of the way stellar distances are measured, and this had a huge impact on the Big Bang Theory. Alden lost his telescope time and had to leave the country to continue his research. Lee Smolin, theoretical physicist, Harvard University, University of Toronto, and one of the founders of the Perimeter Institute for Theoretical Physics, worked in string theory for several years, which is purely a mathematical theory. It has no evidence. And he dropped out and dared to criticize it. He wrote a book, The Trouble with Physics, in which he used string theory as a primary point of his book. Have you lost your mind? How can you believe so strongly in any theory in the complete absence of experimental tests? Have you forgotten how science is supposed to work? Well, he's called a crackpot, a two-faced traitor from his former colleagues, and many other things. I want to make a very important point at this stage. I love all of the technology that has resulted from scientific discoveries. But I want to emphasize that technology is the result of applying scientific knowledge and principles to solve problems and achieve goals. Scientific knowledge and principles don't come from the philosophical side of science, but from the discoveries learned through the application of the scientific method. Let me repeat that. The wonderful technologies that we enjoy today are coming from the discoveries of science, learned through experimentation, through the scientific method, and not from the philosophies of science. Well, in mainstream science, the scientific method is the only allowed approach to discovering the real world. This is a chart that came off of Wikipedia. It purports to represent what is considered currently to be the constituents of the universe. And as you can see, ordinary matter that we can detect is less than 5%. We've hypothesized an additional almost 27% of a mysterious dark matter, undetectable, but needs to be there because we've got a lot more gravity than ordinary matter can account for. And we've hypothesized dark energy that would account for the reason our universe seems to be expanding outward at an accelerated rate. We haven't been able to detect more than 95% of the universe through the scientific method. Are there things that are real that simply can't be discovered through the scientific method? Does a person have a soul or a spirit? Is a near-death experience real? Does one get an answer to prayer? Well, the universe is a very, very big place. And in my personal opinion, mainstream science is in a box. And the walls of the box are the scientific method and naturalism. And I personally believe that there is a reality out there that is far, far bigger than that which science, through the scientific method, can discover. Albert Einstein, truly one of the great thinkers of all time, who always called himself an atheist. But I believe in reality. He simply didn't believe in the God of organized religion. Because he had this to say: "My religious feeling takes the form of a rapturous amazement at the harmony of natural law, which reveals an intelligence of such superiority that compared with it all the systematic thinking and acting of human beings is an utterly insignificant reflection." In this presentation, I've attempted to show a few examples of why the foundation of scientists supporting religion was created. We believe that putting God back into the equation provides a reason for faith that the many mysteries and paradoxes that are abundant in today's mainstream science are to be answered, not on a physical level, not on a philosophical level, but on a spiritual level. We will, in the following presentations, provide information that supports the overwhelming evidence that this beautiful and wonderful universe is the product of a divine creator, a God, a loving Father, and that our lives here have a meaning and a purpose.